I should have married...
AITA! I should have married my best friend!
I still remember the exact moment my world shattered. The second my wife Jenna screamed the words that felt like a physical blow, slicing straight through my chest. I should have married Ryan instead. It wasn't a bitter whisper or a mumbled regret. She screamed it. In front of my entire family, my parents, my siblings, even my own daughter. That was the moment I knew our marriage hadn't just died. It had been dead for a very long time, and I was just now getting the autopsy report. The decline started months earlier, so subtly I almost missed it. Jenna, a real estate agent, suddenly had an endless stream of evening showings. Her phone buzzed with late-night client emergencies. It lived face down on the counter, like it was allergic to sunlight, of course I noticed. But like a fool, I clung to trust. It asked what my dad had always preached. A marriage without trust is just two strangers paying bills together. Well, it turned out I was living with a stranger anyway. But the first real crack in my denial didn't come from Jenna. It came from my 6-year-old daughter, Lily, the bravest, brightest soul I've ever known. One evening, she looked up at me from her untouched plate and asked, with a sadness no child should ever carry, "Daddy, why doesn't Mommy eat dinner with us anymore?" Seeing that look in her eyes, that's when I felt the foundation of my life begin to crumble. A few weeks later, after tucking Lily into bed with her favorite dragon story, I walked into our bedroom. Jenna was there, packing a suitcase with the frantic energy of someone about to miss a flight. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She didn't even look up from folding a sweater. "I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore." My heart hammered against my ribs. "Do what?" "What can't you do?" "This," she said, gesturing vaguely around the room. "Our marriage. Our family." Finally, she looked at me, and her eyes were filled with a coldness I'd never seen before. "I'm 31 years old. I deserve better than living paycheck to paycheck with a husband who smells like grease." The jab at my work as a mechanic stung, but I held my ground, my voice steady. "What about Lily?" For the first time, she paused, her hand hovering over the suitcase. She walked to the doorway, then turned back. "I'll be filing for full custody. A girl needs her mother." And with that, she walked out. The rhythmic click-clack of her suitcase wheels rolling down the hallway felt like a second, more deliberate betrayal. 3 weeks later, the custody papers arrived. They weren't just legal documents. They were a declaration of war. She claimed I was emotionally unstable, financially irresponsible, and a danger to our daughter. The lies were so outrageous, so far from reality, they would have been laughable if they weren't written by a lawyer trained to destroy fathers like me. But I wasn't going to roll over. My lawyer, Kenneth, was a bulldog who didn't flinch at her accusations. And my best friend, Ryan, yes, the same Ryan Jenna had screamed she should have married, stood by me from day one, a constant source of support. But my true anchor, my reason for breathing, my motivation for fighting this ugly battle, was Lily. She was my everything. The truth, as it often does, began to unravel in the shadows. I hired a private investigator, and what he found confirmed the gnawing suspicion in my gut. Jenna wasn't working late. She was seeing someone wealthy, someone dangerous. His name was Andrew Blackwell, a real estate developer with an 8-figure net worth, a charming smile, and a past so dark it made my blood run cold. The investigator uncovered a sealed case involving allegations of inappropriate behavior with a 5-year-old girl. Nothing was ever proven, but the pattern was chillingly clear. And Jenna, blinded by the promise of a lavish lifestyle, had introduced this man to Lily, to my little girl. My heart, in that moment, a cold, focused rage washed over me. But revenge needed precision, not just anger, so I began to gather evidence. I collected everything. Photos of Jenna and Andrew together, phone records detailing their late-night calls, and then the most damning evidence of all, audio recordings. I managed to get a small recorder into Lily's backpack, a last-ditch effort to understand what was happening when she was with her mother. One recording was of Andrew telling Jenna he'd be Lily's real father soon. It made my stomach turn. But another one shattered me completely. It was just Lily's small voice, whispering to her teddy bear. She said she didn't like Mr. Andrew. She said, "He looks at me funny. That was it. That was all I needed to hear. My fight was no longer just for custody. It was for my daughter's safety. We prepared for war in the courtroom. On the day of the hearing, Jenna showed up looking like the perfect mother, polished and rehearsed. She took the stand and lied through her teeth, painting a picture of me as a volatile, absent father. She spoke of my temper, my long work hours, my supposed instability. Her performance was flawless. But then something happened that no one, not even our lawyers, expected. The judge, a stern but fair woman, looked over her glasses and asked Lily if she wanted to say anything. My daughter, my tiny, soft-voiced Lily, clutched her tablet and walked bravely to the stand. She told the judge that she didn't feel safe at Mommy's house anymore. She said she didn't like Andrew. And then she looked right at the judge and said that she always felt safe with Daddy. Then came the words that detonated the entire courtroom. I recorded the truth, she said, holding up her tablet. A heavy silence fell over the room. The judge, her expression unreadable, asked to see the recording. The video played on the large courtroom monitors for everyone to see. It showed Andrew grooming my daughter, trying to isolate her from me, making promises no adult should ever make to a child. It showed Jenna standing by, even defending him as they conspired to take Lily away from me forever. The judge's face hardened into a mask of stone. She didn't need to hear another word. She didn't ask another question. On the spot, she granted me full and sole custody of Lily. Jenna's visitation was reduced to 2 hours a week, and it had to be supervised. Andrew was legally banned from ever being near Lily again, but the judge didn't stop there. She ordered a full investigation into Andrew's past, unsealing the records from his previous case and launching a new inquiry into fraud allegations against his company. Within weeks, Andrew's world imploded. He was arrested for embezzlement, corporate theft, and child endangerment. His real estate empire collapsed like a house of cards. His reputation was vaporized. His own wife divorced him and became a key witness for the prosecution, helping to bury him under a mountain of evidence. As for Jenna, her frantic apologies, her crocodile tears, her desperate pleas for another chance, they all came too late. The sacred bond between a mother and daughter had been shattered the moment she chose a predator over her own child. Years passed, slowly, painstakingly, we healed. I rebuilt our life, piece by piece, on a foundation of honesty and love. Eventually, I met someone new. Her name was Nicole, a kind-hearted widow with a son who adored Lily. We fell in love not with a fiery passion, but with a quiet, steady warmth. We got married in our own backyard, right next to the treehouse I'd built for Lily all those years ago. And as I stood there waiting for Nicole, my daughter stood beside me as our flower girl. After we said our vows, she wrapped her arms around my waist, hugged me tight, and whispered, "I'm safe now, Daddy." And in that one perfect moment, I knew. I finally understood that the best revenge wasn't watching Jenna's life fall apart. It wasn't even seeing Andrew get what he deserved. The ultimate victory was this. It was giving my daughter the safe, happy, and loving life she had always deserved. A life built on truth, not on lies. A life filled with safety, not danger. That was my true revenge. And it was sweeter than I ever could have imagined. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone and that fighting for your child is always worth it. Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories.